Okay, let's get the process started. And then nobody wants to do anything. I'm going to the town hall to find out if I can put a tiny house in my yard. So what are you doing? What are we gonna do?
This is the true story of 4 Gen X classmates.
Reuniting decades later in a rented beach house to share what really happens.
When aging parents, estate planning, leaving behind a legacy, and nursing home care collide.
A nurse, a zoning and planning employee with nursing home experience, a banker, and an estate planning attorney, talking about the stuff nobody told us about, but everyone needs to hear.
This is Gen X Conversations.
So, yeah, it's crazy, but we're the ones who are going to end up being responsible for that. All right, so let's talk a little bit more about some of the mechanics of that stuff. And I'm emphasizing stuff because a lot of my clients these days that are in their 60s, 70s, or even later, my kids don't want my furniture. It's good furniture. It's what's all. So, no, they don't want your stuff. Lynn, you're going through this, still going through this. Your mother-in-law just decided she wanted to go into senior living. It wasn't like, in a lot of cases, yeah, you know this was coming. She just decided to, right?
We had spent 2 years fixing her house, and then we got a phone call that, yeah, I can't stay by myself anymore. I'm going to assisted living. I signed the papers, and I'm moving in a month.
And so your mother-in-law just immediately snapped to and started packing everything up and getting rid of everything on her own, right?
No.
No.
Well, you and the kids who are 24 and 25 and have jobs of their own and going to school, and my husband and I also working full-time, trying to renovate our own home, take care of our own families, like you said, adult children at home. Now have to spend every waking moment over her house packing things, which can be a difficult process in and of itself because we have to go through things one by one and tell a story about it or what we should keep and what we shouldn't. And what do you mean you don't want this? This old table that we've had all these years that was old when we got it. You know, this is a good table.
Yeah.
And it's hurtful when you have to tell them, it's like, I don't want that, I don't have the room. We're trying to clean out our homes, you know, to downsize so our kids don't have to go through this towards the senior years of our life and having to clean things out for us. So we're still in the process of doing that. It's been going on 2 months now because she couldn't move out when she'd like to because there was so much stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you think it's important for educational videos like this to get out there, then please help us out by subscribing to the channel.
What about you guys? How much stuff is around? Barbie, how much stuff was around for your parents? Kim, how much stuff are you looking at for your parents? It's like, oh my God.
Oh, well, basically a whole house full of furniture,
Yeah.
you know, and everything that goes with it, you know, dishes and table linens and all those things. And what do you do with them? It's like, some things, yes, there are family members that would like certain things that my mother has. And actually my mom has had conversations with certain family members saying, oh yeah, well, if you want this, you can have this when I go. So I actually know in the house, like who's gonna get what as far as stuff, you know, but the big things, they're still not taken care of as far as I'm gonna have to deal with it. What's gonna happen? And I'm thinking, unfortunately, and I hate to say this, I think my mom's probably gonna go first because she has a lot of health issues. She's on dialysis. I mean, so what I think is gonna happen is when that happens, I will be able to take my dad and he can come and live with me because he will do anything I say. You know, he's at the point where he's got Parkinson's and there's a little bit of a dementia that comes with Parkinson's, but he will do what I ask him to. Like if I tell him, like he's at the point where he'll come downstairs and he hasn't washed his face, brushed his hair, and I will say, Dad, what are you doing? You gotta go, and he'll go do it. So I know that he's not gonna be difficult when the time comes to transfer him to somewhere. And that somewhere will be with me, you know. I'm gonna take care of him. and then we'll have to sell the house and we'll have to do all that. But there is a thing that I am concerned with. So my dad is my stepdad. He's not my biological father, but I consider him my dad. He did everything, you know. I have 2 stepbrothers that live in South Carolina that really never had much contact with my dad throughout our lives. And that's just a long story in itself. But the oldest son has been kind of hovering around a little bit when my mom was having her health issues and was in and out of the hospital. And there was a comment made about the house. And now I'm worried that he may want to get part of the house or get money from the house. And to be honest with you, he has no right to any of it. My mother was the one that bought the house with her money from the house that she sold prior from them getting married. So
technically, is his estate plan in place?
No.
No. That's what'll happen.
Right.
Now
I mean, all they have in place is that I'm getting everything. Thank you so much. Because
verbally.
Well, no, she's got a will that
does.
says I get the house. I get this.
What does
but
he
people
have
will
that?
contest. I know. Well, he's got my dad.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a joint will. Honestly.
Well, usually it's not.
Right. So I don't know.
It's got to be his plan.
Probably not. So which means we're gonna have to do something for his plan when Mom passes, or before.
Especially from what you're saying, it's Parkinson's, but there's a little bit of dementia there. It very well could be he may be too far into the dementia by the time your mom passes on. Okay. And the thing is, were you adopted by him?
No.
Then you're not his heir. The
I
two
know.
sons are.
I
And
know.
they're the ones who are going to get the house. So, yeah, this is the importance of making sure this stuff gets planned.
Right.
And planned for multiple contingencies. This
Yeah.
is a case that I had. Again, unfortunately, I had the husband and his wife as a client put together their trust. They had their 2 sons that were going to inherit everything when both of them were gone. That's the way it's going to be. Okay. Wife passes on. He gets remarried. They want to redo the trust, so everything goes to the wife first, and then when she passes on, she had 1 daughter, they wanted all 3 kids equally. I said, well, okay, we can structure this one of 2 ways. It can be you're doing separate trusts and you can put stuff, quote, in a holding pattern for your spouse. So if, the house is there, they can live in the house, they're going to get the income, but they're not going to get the principal unless it's needed, and then it goes, your stuff goes to your kids, her stuff goes to her kid. Nope, we're going to do this together. Everything goes to the spouse and then down to the 3 kids. But they can change it. Oh, they're not going to change it.
Yeah. Right.
Oh my God. 6 weeks after he died, she took everything out of the trust, moved it into her own trust, and had her daughter as the only beneficiary.
Yeah.
So she took all of his assets, put it into her trust, and there were some reasons that she had, and he was mad with the 2 kids, and anyway, and we talked about maybe cutting them out. I don't know if it was true or not, but 6 weeks, that's all it took to cut out the 2 kids.
Wow.
So,
yeah.
I wanted to make sure we were talking about stuff. I remember this old cartoon that I've seen more and more recently. It's like a cartoon of a 2-car garage. It's piled all the way up in the front with furniture and books and boxes and whatever. And there's the father outside with his son and saying, "Son, someday all this will be yours."
Right.
That's what they're leaving.
Yeah.
So I almost wonder if you're going to get them a nice Christmas present, maybe a month rental of a dumpster that you could just start taking stuff out to the driveway, throwing it in to get rid of it. And
If you think it's important for educational videos like this to get out there, then please help us out by subscribing to the channel.
honestly, that's what we keep talking about. We've got too much stuff in our house, but
Or a third dumpster at my mother-in-law's house, so yeah.
yeah,
Of filling it up and throwing stuff out, not to mention things donated that you don't realize how much stuff you have.
Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
and that's
if you've
just
been
normal.
in a location for
20,
several
30
years,
years,
I
yeah.
mean, you just accumulate. I used to say, the house just absorbs. You can just keep filling it, and the house
family
just
members pass
absorbs.
away. We had my uncle, my grandparents, and everybody's just kind of taking this stuff, and I don't want to throw it out. It's my Pepe's old whatever.
Yep, yep.
We're not using it for anything, and
Right.
now it's just taking up space in your house for
Yep.
the next generation to have to figure out how to get rid of.
Yeah.
If you don't do so beforehand, it's
Yeah. Yeah. All right, so your mother-in-law just decided, okay, it's time. Have you had to have any of those conversations, Kim? I mean, I know you're like, well, no, my father will come in and move in with me.
Yeah, no, we've had to have conversations. What my mother is recently falling quite a bit. You know, she's always losing her balance, and it's not one particular thing. It's several different. She'll fall off the toilet. She'll fall in the kitchen. She'll fall out of bed. She gets twisted in her oxygen. So, I just lost my train of thought. I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
Talking about.
We're talking about your father could move in with you.
Okay, I got it now. Yes, so there was a time when she came home from the hospital, and we had to have a serious conversation with them, and we sat down and we said, listen, you know, you need to come, you've got to be around where there's people, you know, I mean, you've got to be around, you can't be by yourself, you know. My father will go to the dump, she'll get up to go get a cup of coffee, he comes home, he finds her on the floor, you know. So trying to get things organized, it's very difficult because there's an Italian word, it's called cabadost, it's called, you're thick-headed, you don't want to do anything.
Yeah.
And when we tried to start to clean up, like I did very little things. Let's go into your closet, let's get rid of some of the stuff that don't fit anymore. I can't even tell you, Jeff, what a project that was.
Yeah.
She had to see everything that was going into that bag. It didn't matter if it was a 2X t-shirt and she's only a medium now.
Yeah.
She had to see what was going in that bag. And I know that it's a control thing because they feel like they're losing control when you do things like this. But it started a huge fight. I didn't talk to her for almost a week because of it. And this is recently, you know. I can't be out of contact with her for that long. I need to know that she's safe, that they're eating, that everything's going on. So we've hit walls with that, and that is a little bit of a problem because every time we try to start the planning to get them either moved into a safer place or in with us, you know, I can't tell you how many conversations we've had. Let's put a tiny house in the backyard. Okay, let's get the process started. And then nobody wants to do anything. I'm going to the town hall to find out if I can put a tiny house in my yard. So what are you doing? What are we going to do? We going to do this or not? And it's always, oh, well, maybe in a little while. Maybe let's wait a little while. Let's wait. And this is what and I'm sure it's not
when
just
I'm
me.
older, you're 77. How much older? You?
Right, exactly. It's not just me. I know it happens with a lot of people who are trying, and I just want the best for them. I don't, you know, I don't, and I get it. You know, when you're living in your house, we're all gonna be the same way. We're not gonna want to leave. We have memories at that house. This is our home. We don't want. But when your home isn't safe anymore for you, you really need to start thinking about other options, and that's where we find the blocks we don't want to do.
Barbie, did you have any of those discussions, and where where are you going to live if things get worse? Did you have any of that stuff before your parents passed on?
I did. Luckily for me, my parents were older than Lynn's and Kim's parents, so they came from a time where preparation was probably too much. They were so prepared for everything that you couldn't even live because something might happen. So luckily for me, I sat down with them, and they, at 2 separate times, were willing to set everything up because they did not want their kids to suffer. They did not want fighting. They did not want anybody controlling any of their assets without their permission, and they wanted everything exactly how they wanted it. So those conversations were easier with them specifically, but then going to brothers and sisters, because I'm not the oldest brother, and the oldest brother is supposed to handle everything. But we, luckily, after much convincing, were able to work together, my older brother and I, to get everything in order, because I stress that all these legal things are going to happen. I know this because I work with it every day, and the more people that don't do anything, the more people that can come into it. And he's like, nobody will do that. And I said, well, that's nice in theory. Legally, though, your thought process won't hold up. So after much debate, and luckily we did it early enough that we had everything in place, so when the time came, everything was already said and done. Nothing could be touched. Every legal piece was covered, and it made it very, very, very smooth at a time when all 8 of us, from my physical parents, we're all in different places emotionally, financially, and whatnot, but it took all that guesswork out of the process.
Yeah. Did you have any of the conversations of, well, what if you get really sick and need to
Yes,
move?
well, they were both not going to move, but my mother did move to an elderly complex, which was covered, but we had moved assets prior to her and legally protected everything so that when she did go there, nothing could be attached for financial reasons, which got her in there cheaper. But then we took care of everything, so by the time that both of them were able to pass, and they were older, everything was already taken care of financially, so those that needed support when they passed got that extra support family-wise, and everybody worked out based on where they were financially and whatnot, and nobody argued at that point.